Hey, how you guys doing? Alrighty then, let's get this party started. Okay, let's go over our London system. Oh yeah, gotta love it. D4, knight f6, knight f3, e6, bishop f4, b6, e3, bishop b7, e4, e2. This right here is, instead of playing for, we normally play our bishop out to, hold on, let me get to the point. We normally play our bishop out here. Usually, this is what we usually play. This is what we played in the game e2. It's kind of like saying that, you know what, I'm not worried about you. I know if you play here, I gotcha. I know if you play here, I gotcha. I know if I play here, I can retreat back. You know, I got you either way. So this kind of keeps the tension on h5. So then e4. That's an interesting move because you usually don't move a piece twice in the beginning. But what Black's trying to do is cement his knight, potentially trying to make a stone wall for Black, because you know what, it potentially could happen with d4, knight f5, and we don't want to play c6. Usually this would be the formation, something like that. That would be the formation, and then you'd basically trade your bishop off here. Your light square bishop. So you trade off your good bishop, your bad bishop for his good bishop. So it's good. This kind of setup resembles a stone wall, and usually a stone wall is good against higher rated players, because you then go into a close game, which potentially there could be errors there, inaccurate moves, and then you can maybe get a draw. At best would be a win, so a draw or a win. So knight bd2, f5, he's starting his stone wall, c3, and then d5. Now the stone wall somewhat setup has been there. This turns the game into a hyper Queen's Indian Stonewall Dutch formation when facing a creative opponent. The London system offers good choices. Players frequently get into strange maneuvers in an attempt to liven things up. Basically, this is kind of odd. This isn't really how the London system played for like Black. Black's trying to throw a little bit of spice into the game, trying to shut down our London attack. Black tried to get to a normal stone wall. You can get to a normal one with d6, a4, a3, b3, and then d5. This is a somewhat of a normal stone wall setup. Because what you're going to try to do is trade off a pair of bishops, maybe. But what that does, though, it does leave holes on the light squares. So maybe you'd want to keep your bishop, because you don't want a knight to end up somehow getting here, here, and then into there. You don't want that. But he played d5, kind of creating a different type of a stone wall, but not at this moment. So we just jam a knight right on in. And he played knight takes d2. There's also another move that he said for some reason he didn't understand why his opponent played takes here. Instead, he should have played this g5. This is an interesting move. Bishop h2. That's why we played h3. Knight d2. I mean d7. Knight takes d7. Queen takes d7. Knight g3 to put some pressure on here, and I actually put another knight in. d6, knight e5. Queen to g7 to attack, and also the knight was attacking the queen. That you wouldn't want to do this if you were black, because then you just cemented you helped white, and now this knight will get kicked out, and you have a better position. The king's bare to the world. There's nothing for the king to be sheltered to. So the queen just moved. f3 to kick the knight. The knight went to f6 to block the queen. Bishop d2, and then at this moment h5. This is what the author says, which leads to a very sharp situation where black either mates or horribly overextends with defense. In such situations, just keep in mind the principle that you should counter in the center when attacking on the wing, when you're attacked on the wing, and work actively to hit back at some point with c4, e4, and f4. Some of these moves here, these are the areas where we're going to want to hit back at the right moment. We're going to want to crunch the center, because he's attacking on the wing. We're going to want to smash the center and say, you know what? Don't you forget, you may have an attack on the wing, but don't forget, I have an attack in the center. You're soft in the center. I'm going to break you open. That's basically what attacking the center says to a wing attack. You could attack on the wing. I have enough to stop you, and I'm going to attack in the center. So you're saying to your opponent, I have this under control. Your attack doesn't do anything. The Romans did it against the Carthaginians. What happened was Hannibal sent over elephants. They went over the Alps, I think. I hope I'm pronouncing the right hill, but the hill in Italy. They went over that, and they attacked. They were going to attack Rome. They actually went down and invaded. They should have attacked Rome. Rome was at that moment didn't have a lot of troops, but he was attacking in Italy, and so they decided to, you know what, the best thing to do is sometimes the best offense is the best defense. So what Rome did was they landed all their troops in Carthage, right next to the city of Carthage, and the Carthaginians pulled Hannibal back, and he got defeated. Him and his elephants and all the guys got defeated, and Rome conquered all of Carthaginians' empire. So they basically went all in, and this is kind of like when I saw this kind of reminded me of that type of setup that Hannibal is starting to push like he did against Rome. And then at the right moment, we counter right back on Carthage, and then they have to react to our threat, and then we defeat them. So that's kind of an example. I wanted to give you a historical example of kind of this. Hey, Foss, how you doing? Alrighty. Let's continue onward. So queen takes, knight d7, c4, because we're attacking the center now. Knight takes, bishop takes, and then a dubious move, c5. This only helps white. There's no point to this move. The best chance for black would have been bishop d6, f4, and then c5. This is best, because now you're the dark square bishop is kind of stuck here. It doesn't really have a lot of mobility, and now you can counter, and even if takes, the queen takes back, and you're holding. If you take here, the bishop can actually take back, and now you're attacking right onto the king. But c5, way too optimistic in my opinion. Way too optimistic. Okay, D takes. There's nothing wrong with this one. This is what they're saying. For white. There's nothing wrong with maintaining the center with just a D1. You know what? So keep the tension, keep the pressure. You don't have to instantly take and relieve the pressure. Make black have to think, which way is he going to take? Is he going to take this way? Is he going to take that way? And you can just develop a rook. There's no reason. Any way he takes, you could take back. Any way he takes, you could take back. You can even take this way if he takes. And then you have it. So you know what? No rush. Don't rush. So just be patient. Patience. So he takes. There's taking here there's move 14 here with B takes. B takes C5. Rook A D and Rook A C1. Bishop D6. Bishop takes D6. Queen takes D6. C takes D5. Moth. See, E takes D5. Rook F D1 to double attack this. Rook A D8 and then Bishop F3. This pin is going to be a deadly one for black. Rook F E8 and then A3. At this point, we're intending to play B4 to force white to play C4 and create a permanent backward pawn. See if we can get B4 in, and he plays C4. He has a permanent backward D5 pawn, and that's going to be a target for the entire game. If we can get this in, if he takes, more than merrier. We're not worried about any of that. This actually helps us. This is still bound. This is still pinned to the bishop. So you know what? We're good either way. But he took with the bishop. Rook A D1. Queen E7. Rook A C1. Because we're trying to develop everything. Rook F D8. They're just developing. And Queen E1 exclam. This is actually a really good move. Because the idea is we have our rooks on really good open files. We're more developed. And potentially we can play bishop to queen to F1. Rook A D1. A3 with a potential threat of B5 or B4. Wait a second. Let me go back. Hold on. Yeah, this line allows to stop a draw. Back here, this line, it says, despite the position, it looks equal, but it isn't really easy for black to find active lines which lead to a clear draw. It'd be hard for black when he played queen to E1. When white played queen to E1, it's hard for black to find any way to draw this position if they wanted to. But we played on this one because we played A3, he played A5, and then we played queen F1. This covers the this covers G2, while eyeing the hole on B5 or A5. B5 or A6. It covers those spots. So like if they take here, we could take back, and we have these two holes to plop a bishop into, or a queen. So he plays A6, which is actually a mistake. Black. This is what it says. Black can't tolerate another pawn weakness. That's basically why. And black's mind is like, I can't tolerate another pawn weakness. So basically, he should have taken here, and bishop takes, and well, this was better for white due to the hole on. This is good for white because of these holes, but it's the best of the lot for black. Black made a big mistake by playing that, because that walked right into a pin here. C takes D, bishop takes, queen takes, rook takes. There's also E takes D. Let me see here. E takes D, and then D takes E. Let's see here. Perhaps black should keep an extra pair of rooks on the board with this move. This would have kept, instead of taking the rooks, taking here and then playing there, would have kept the rooks on the board, which would have kind of helped with the weak D5 pawn. But instead of that, black chose to trade off the rooks, which the more the pieces come off the board, we've studied, guys, the weaker isolated pawns end up becoming, because they don't have any pieces to defend them. They don't have a brother there, and he doesn't really have a lot. So the more pieces come off the board, the more this is a very weak point in the castle wall. So D4, bishop D4, and let me see, where do we have? He played E6, which was a mistake. What needed to be played, which is imperative, was actually queen to D7. It covers the rook, and it doesn't walk into a pin. You'll see what happens. This walked right into a cross pin. It's like, oh wow. Yeah, that really black got a rude awakening when he realized, oh man, on Shevitz, what just happened? Oops, I forgot to put an exclam mark. I knew I forgot something. Hold on, guys. There's this move here. You could also, let's see, at this point, hold on. Okay, the primary threat of queen is, of course, you guys see, you can actually play B4, or you can threaten rook takes bishop, rook takes bishop, and bishop takes bishop. Pawn can't take because the queen's pinned. So I could actually pick up a piece in this line. The queen moved to E8. There's also a line rook E8. Queen, bishop takes, pawn takes, and then queen takes, check. Rook takes, we pick up a pawn. Rook B6, and then we take there. And it doesn't matter if he takes here, because we can actually pick up that pawn. And it doesn't matter if he checks here, we just retreat up, and we're still going to potentially pick up that pawn, and we have a passed A pawn. So black is in serious peril at this moment. He's like, really, this is sad. So, oh, wait a second, I apologize, there's another line, here, and if rooks, sorry, if, back here, if E, right there, and if rook E8, kind of to pin the bishop, you have rook to C3. This allows for the ability to win a pawn. Takes, and then takes. We could actually win a whole piece here. And if he plays, he can't take here. He can't take here, so because of this cross pin. So it doesn't. The pin doesn't really do anything. This pin over here is dubious. So he actually has to take with the pawn. He takes with the pawn there, and that's the only way to stay in an equal position. So A6. If E8 was played, rook B7. Now we're eyeing another pawn here. With check. There is another line for white. It's a dubious move though. So don't do this move, because this will lead to it'll help that black to bail out in a position. A takes, rook a8. We're attacking. Now we're attacking the pawn. So bishop takes, queen takes. And then h. And he says that this line is black is allowed to bail out at a relatively low cost with just being a pawn down. Black got out of a painful situation without any real cost. Because this move here, we go, remember A here, this move puts the full question, because we're now going to attack here. There's still a lot of threats to come. We even have this now, and we can actually win. This rook's under fire with b4, a takes b4, a takes b4, and if the bishop runs, we have rook takes c8, and we pin the we don't pin, we win a rook. The queen would have to move. So that's so he played queen f8, b4, a takes b, and then a takes b, and black resigned. When black goes for a Stonewall Queen's Indian setup, just look for central counterplay. I know, I like it. Look for central counterplay, trade pieces, and try to expose the holes in black's positions later on. So when we'll go back to the point where he set up his Queen's Indian Stonewall setup here. Right here, when he creates this kind of when he thinks that it's a Stonewall, but it's really not. Look for all weak points in the position, like there's a weak point there. So we just plop a knight right in on d5 or e5, and we have a really good position. So knight e5 would be a wonderful spot to place a piece. And so just when they play odd like this, just look for weak points that they create. Like we plopped a knight right on in, and if he tries like g5 and h5 and all that, remember, if his attack fails, he's overextended, and we take him down. Okay, we'll do some tactics, or if you guys have any games you would like to go over, I'll be more than happy to go over them. Okay, post it in. All right. Okay, dokie. Let's see here. So g4. Okay, stockfish. c5, knight c3, f3, c6. So basically, King's Indian attack. Knight f6, castle kingside, and then f5, c4 to counter. And when they start doing this counter attack here, you attack right in the center. When they start trying to play on the queen side, attack right in the center. e5, e6, queen b3. Now Lula sends our Fischer system. Yeah, this takes advantage of the b3, so the b has to come here, d3, and this only helps white, because if we play there and let's say he tries to get out, you always have actually he can't get out, because like he'd have to play here, and then you can break the center, and it's a little too late. There's not enough. You could try something like that, but then you just win a pawn, so the queen can't take. That's why knight bd7, so that if we take, that'll happen. So we don't want to take. C takes d5, e takes d5, and queen c2 is playable. queen c5, and then queen a4. We don't want to do that. This allows for us to swing our queen over to the king side and then get some attack going. Bishop d6, queen e3, or bishop e3, queen b4, queen takes b4, bishop takes b4, and h6. Now what we're doing is we're making a spot for our king to go to. Potentially we can reroute and get a pretty good kingside attack if he thinks about castling, which he does. Now we bring our knight in and we have f4, g4, and maybe some attack. So g6. Now we're like, please trade this, because he'd be stuck with a bad bishop, and then what we're going to do is we would have a really good center. I think it had a multitude of ideas. I agree with you on that. That it does deal with knight to g4, h3. It also has ideas of an attack too. So, and then king safety. So it has like three. It has like 3 or 4 ideas behind it. You should have a move like my teacher said that has at least 1, at least 2, all the way up to like 7 different ideas behind it. The more ideas you have behind your moves, the higher level you are in the ELO system, he said. Like grandmasters have like 7 or 8 ideas on each move usually, and if you could tell, when they don't, they end up losing. So knight c3, rook fe8, rook fd1, and then knight h5 with he's going to try to go to f and see if he can't undermine that there. So g4. Yes, we're going for the attack. Loving it. Come on, give it. We can't do that yet. The rook's there. Snap. I really want to play. I really want to do that. Okay, c1. All right. Yes. Yes. And we're not worried if takes here, because take back. Even if he takes here, we're going to smash right on through with takes. And then we're going to say wham. We're going to go wham on that. And then if he takes here, and then let's say takes. He's got 3 pawns, yes. But we're just going to slip our... Okay, it's his move. Let's say he plays here. We're just going to we're going to walk right on over here. And potentially either move our king to h1. Probably king h1 would be best. And then bring our rook over. If he grabs that, hey, you can have it, but take it. Oh, you're thinking of running? Not gonna happen. We're sending our forces in. So, oh yeah, f5, gotta love it. Yes, we're shutting the bishop out, and even if he tries this, remember, we can actually grab there, and then now takes. His bishop's out of play, so in theory he's down a whole bishop. And now we can actually start our offensive attack. Let me see, how can we do that? Probably here, and then if he tried doubling, we just move over. And then if he tries takes. Yes, we're down a pawn, but look how yucky the bishop looks. We can just maneuver our knight in onto these points here, take advantage of that, take advantage of there. This bishop's going to be out of play forever now. Yeah, this knight has to keep hold. This bishop cannot trade. You can't let bishop get here and trade that off. Now knight f3. This we have to reroute our knight now. Nice. That's a good idea. That's actually not bad. Stockfish did a really good move here. This is not a bad idea. B3, but you have to remember there's bishop to A6, A5, and so you're gonna potentially, after, you would want to go A3, bishop takes knight, pawn takes, and then you can pick up a knight. Get your pawn back with interest on that bishop. That B7 pawn. So the knight's coming here, so that the bishop move, and then the A3 doesn't have any teeth. So F1 to attack the rook, rook E8, rook C1. And here we go with A. Yeah, if he plays there, we just grab that, and it's like, yay, thank you for letting our Pac-Man in. Womp, 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 womp. We also have this weakness here now. That's weak. So if we try that, we just go wham, we win another piece. And if he tries attacking our rook, we just double up our rooks, and if he takes, that's weak. So we're totally owning on this. A5. That just provoked a weakness here, so potentially we have bishop in there. We have a lot of attack. Queen E1. Oh, nice. That's even better. Bishop in there to attack this knight. Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. You gotta love that. 1 second, I'm gonna grab a drink of water. Yummy, that water's good. Especially when it's hot outside and humid. Rook A6 forced, because he's gonna try to get his rooks and then maybe reroute. Black's in a world of hurt right now, and Black's gonna be going down in flames pretty soon. H. Now in comes the knight. Yes, so knight takes, and then we take here. Check. King G2. We take a pawn. So we get our pawn back, but the difference with getting the pawn back is, where is our rook? Our rook is on the open file. On the 7th rank. So we're gonna get a Pac-Man going. Munch munch. Now we see that rook C1 has a lot more useful than it first. Yeah, you kind of got to plan ahead. Rook C1, you have to plan ahead for ideas like prepare, like if this opens up, where would be the best place for my my pieces to be at. And yeah, I agree with you about bishop rook to C1. A D8. Wham. We don't need to worry. Hey, you know what? Have it. You know what? Our Pac-Man's ready. We could take care of it. We can come back. We're not sad. Don't worry. We're here. We got this move. We could trap your bishop. We can go for the takedown. Rook E4. G. There it is. There we go. Right up the board they go. Oh yes. Now we're gonna go after this pawn. We have trapping the king. Everything's Operation Go for us. Wham. Gotta love that. Oh, a pin. Sweet. Takes. Trying to pull. If the rook takes here, then we take there, and if there's a check, he can't check anymore. So, and then at this point we'd want to play rook up, and then if he takes there, we don't really much mind. We go wham, And how do you handle not losing a piece here? This is not gonna look very good for white pretty soon. I mean for black pretty soon. First we'd want to lock down the position. There's no real rush. And he really can't do anything. He can't play here because if he does that, he'd have to move and we pick up a rook. So we're actually, and then if he plays here, we can just drop our bishop right there. Now we're still Operation Go. He may say, but wait, look, you can't win a rook anymore. But we don't need to win a rook now. He just moves his king and wham, we win the bishop. So we're in such a winning position. That's why he can't take. So rook takes, and then now there's a big time problem with the king. Safety. It's almost all over. d4. We move our king and that's going to become a problem. Oh yes. Now we're going to be playing f6 pretty soon. D king. Alright. So we're going to stop the pawn. Now we're attacking the rook, and that wasn't I don't think that was the best of moves. Nice, really nice. Why, as the 300 would say, give them nothing but take from them everything. Or as Aragon says in Helm's Deep, show them no mercy, for they will show you none. Same type of phrase. Check. King there. C3, C5. Now we just won. Now we got a pass pawn. He's got a weakness here. Where doesn't black have it? Where doesn't black have weaknesses now? We just picked this up. We're gonna win that pawn. I don't know if black's very long for this world. His king is gonna be going down pretty soon. Wham. Can't even take there because of a problem with boom with that. Then you play there. If he tries checking, you just move up. If he checks, you just move up. Sorry. Well, I guess we'd have to move there. Smack. I don't know if this actually does what I wanted. So potentially we'd first have to play there and then do that. Well, maybe we would still be okay. We'd have to kind of run. I don't know if I think I was a little too ahead of myself there. There we go. Now we got some we got an attack coming. Okay, now this works. So we did have the right idea, but wrong placement of the bishop. G takes, bishop takes. Okay, we're gonna win something like that. Takes. Now we're gonna win the bishop. Wham! Oh man, this is just brutal. Just so brutal. Still, gotta love it though. Now we're attacking the bishop. We have two pawns that are safe. There goes the first one. Alright, let's attack. There goes the second one. There goes a bishop attack. Alright, there goes the next one. There goes our next one. So, which one are you going to focus on now? You can't solve both. Now our king comes in. Okay. So which spot? Let's see. What are you going to play? You know, we're going to queen this. Queen. Oh, ouch. Ouch. Wow. Ouch. Ouch. That's gotta hurt. Having both of them queen. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Good game. That was a really good game. Thank you, Foss, for that. That was a beautiful game. That was art on a board. That was like a painting on a board. Do you have any questions about any of the lines? Do you have any questions? Well, I was going to do one thing. I was going to pick a game out from somebody, but then I thought, do you know what we could do? We can actually watch an Allied chess game that's going on. We'll watch we'll see what they have for a rapid game. And we can watch it in action. And it's got to take. And the bishop might take back. Oh, the pawn's going to take back. Okay, that's an interesting takes for sure. So, all right, the knight's coming in. Well, I think white has a slight advantage here. Ooh, nice. Okay. So bishop. I don't know if we want bishop takes. How do we want to handle this? Maybe we want no. Oh, so he's playing there. Okay. That did provoke this weakness though. So. Yes, we are. We did our London lesson. This is a. We're just going over somebody's game right now. We're just taking a look to see, because I was gonna do like a Nakamura game, but I didn't see really anything. There probably would be one, but I sometimes I just like watching games that are live. That are 10 minutes, which are really sometimes fun, because you then can see and analyze a live game. And so let's see here, what would be a good move for what's kind of white's idea. If you want to think about it, white wants to put a knight on c5 and kind of block this this weak point up so the queen can move. You want to do a French lesson? Okay, we could try that. I'll set up one. Hold on, let's see if I can I'll see if I can we'll finish this game out here, and then we'll do some puzzles. I just thought about, to take a just tiny break and take a look, because I like watching games. Oh, end games? Okay. Let's see, I'll make a study for that then. Hold on, guys. Come on, don't stall on me now. Let's see, my studies. We'll add a new study. So let's see. So let's see, for anyone to clone. Visual to the public. Member chat. Yes, keep. Okay. Start. Okay. Chapter 1. We'll do chapter 1. Let's see if I. But I don't know if I. How do you. Let's see. I gotta check. I haven't tried. Let me see. Can you modify pieces? Hold on. How do you take pieces off the board though? Snap. I have to work on that. I'm not sure how to take pieces off the board. I'll have to do some research on that. I at least made a study for that though. So we'll have to work on that. I'll have to do some research. I don't know how to do it right now. So we'll just we'll do some puzzles, and then I'll have to check to see how all that's going. We'll do some puzzles. Let's see here. I'm gonna have to learn, because I know there's a way you could take pieces off the board. I know how to do the openings and the games, but I don't know how to remove pieces inside of a study. But I'll figure it out, and we'll get it down. Then we can I can set up end games for you guys. Let's see here. So rook F to B8. So the queen's under fire. Basically, the queen's trapped. Our queen is trapped. So how can we... Let's see, I guess maybe we could take here. When that takes, we take here. Yeah, we get enough material for the piece. So the line is C takes D5. Rook takes B7. D takes C6 with a fork. The queen. So the queen would have to move queen. C8, and then C takes B7, and we'd be up a whole. Let me see. We'd be up 3, 6. We'd be up 14 pawns. So what do you guys think? I think it's C takes D5. Yeah, that is interesting, but well, let's take a look here. I agree with that, Fox. Okay, let's check Fox's idea out. C takes D5. E takes D5. Bishop takes. Queen takes. Pawn takes. And our queen is safe, and yes, we're up. Let's see, how many pawns would we be? We'd be up 1 pawn. Interesting. Yeah, nice find, economy. That does make it work now, because here bishop h3. If the queen took, then we can actually grab that knight. So the queen actually can't take. The queen would have to move, and then we could, it would have to move back or something, like here. And could we actually pick up, yeah, we could pick up the pawn at that, well, no. Yeah, we could, couldn't we? Let's see here, okay. Here, here, there. Queen has to stay here at that point. Then we can actually come over and grab this pawn. Interesting for sure. Yeah. Okay, now let's make sure though, because you always have to do a double take just to make sure if we're missing anything. So we're looking at h3. Queen has to retreat back at that point. Or the queen could take, and then in that case, we just snap off the knight. So that's a line as well. But if the queen if we go here, queen retreats back, we grab a pawn, and so we're up. Let's see, this would be gone. So let's see, he would have 5 pawns, and we would have 6 pawns, and oh wow, yeah, we're up material here. Yeah, so we're up actually, we'd be up 4 whole pawns in that line. Yeah, this has to be the line. Great find, guys. Interesting for sure. Let's see, if we took with thinking if we take with the queen, come on, rook would take. We can double up rooks at that point. He could play pawn up. We could play knight. I don't know. I don't know if taking's proper here. Queen a4, you're saying Fox? Yeah, that would work, because if the king ever tried fleeing, we have rook to d8. Yeah, this threatens here, and now we'll have enough to double up. If need be, we can actually double at that point, and we can actually physically come here. When the king moves, we come over, and you can actually grab the knight, and then I don't know, would we actually be up anything in that line? I really don't see anything kind of better than that, but I'm just trying to, like what you're saying, Fox, about a4, c3, rook d8. If you have e to queen e2 is played, we do have queen check, king comes up. Actually, king can't come up at that point. That'd be mate. Close to mate. His king would actually, he can't come there, so that king wouldn't be able to come there. It could come up. Interesting for sure. So you see an idea, Fox? Okay. Interesting. That does handle the king's threat here. So now we're adding one more move into it. a5, c, rook slides over, queen here, and then knight in there. Now we're threatening check. The king would have to come here, and then now we have a potential discovery that we can use. So let's go with that. That's the idea. Okay. So let's see, rook d8, and if queen moves, so we have decided rook d8, queen takes, and knight takes, rook takes, and then we have king up, and okay. Let's see what would be the plan if queen here. So we check first, king comes up. So knight check. If rook takes, rook takes. Boy, it'd be very tempting to grab the knight. Very tempting, but that I don't know if we gain anything from that though. This actually takes advantage of this pin here. Sometimes material is not everything. We always have to remember that we're actually going to checkmate our opponent with a potential. If we can get our pawn here, and then the king takes, we have queen to a5, I believe. Queen a5 or a4, and that takes away all this here. That'd be mate. So that's kind of why this idea is great. Also takes advantage of this pawn here. So just guys, keep in mind, material's great, but remember the game's about checkmate. So just keep that in mind when you're looking. You always have. I like how there was a gentleman, I forgot his name, who did the junior tournament that's going on right now. He's with Tatev. He's co speaking with her, and he said that this one young lady had a perpetual in her pocket, but she was looking for a maybe a win. She always had a perpetual that she could actually play. So, but because she had like 3 or 4 minutes that she could work with, the young lady, and yeah, yeah. So that's the coolest. That was cool. So we always have like what you guys are saying. Not that this isn't a good idea. Not that this isn't a good idea. You always have that in your back pocket. So always remember that. You always have the ability to take. Just keep that in mind. But as Alakai says, if you see one move, always look for a better next move. Just always keep that in there. You may find like G5, and you may wow your opponent to the extreme that they make a mistake, and then you finish it off even quicker. So you never know. So I'll leave this one here with you guys. I'll be right back. And yes, Railbird 80, we have moved up, so we're doing real good as a group. So we got to keep pushing forward. And so I'll be right back. Bye bye, guys. In 1 sec, I'll be right back. Alright, let's see what we got here. Okay, so rook, we're looking at rook to e1. So we'll check that out. So rook e1. So we're checking out both you guys. We'll check out this line first. So okay, rook e1 check. So let's try this. So rook e1 check for you guys. We're gonna take a look because I'm pretty sure you guys are right about this. Then if the king goes to king f2, we have d2 like what you guys were saying, d2. He has a7, and then we have rook takes c8. Or sorry, rook takes c1. And we should be winning in that line. I think you guys are right in that. Yeah, that does make the most sense of the line. Oh, takes. Well, I know the first move what we have, that is right, and this move's right. Whoa. So let's go over this line that we talked about here. Oh, you just push. Huh. You can actually just push and queen. What does it want to... Does it want you to... Okay, it turns into a queen, so you're 17 pawns. And the problem with this move is, if you take, you're only 3 pawns up. Otherwise, the bishop actually blocks, so we can actually get a full piece. Yeah, and we're totally owning here. There's no survival for black. I don't think he only has that, and then we can just pick up the bishop. So we actually won a bishop, and now we have a queen too. Thumbs up. Great find, guys. That's a great find. Yeah. Let's take a look at that. Okay. So rook takes here. Rook takes. Queen takes. You have to turn into a knight for check. King retreats back. Yeah, this is just the problem. Queening. It's not a problem. Hey, it's a good thing we went over that, because you guys, that was not a problem, Fox. Not a problem at all. You know what? It's all about learning. So you know what? There is no wrong move. It's do we know why the move is not as good as the one that we should pick? That's the whole point. There is no wrong move. It's just there's one best move. Okay, now we'll go on to the next one, onward and upward. Yes, we'll do one more. Actually, I'll do this one and then one more with you guys. So we'll do 2. This one and then one more. So let's get this one rolling. Let's see here. Okay, so he took a pawn because it was protecting both rooks. I'm thinking if we play rook takes rook. So rook takes rook. If bishop takes rook, we have rook e1. So if we actually could retreat our bishop back too if need be. I like your idea with the knight. The only problem economy with taking is that the knight actually takes back if we do that. The knight will actually take back economy. That's the only reason. If this knight wasn't here, the takes would actually be a really great move. Well, I guess it could work. Now that I think about it, I think you're right. The only problem with rook to g2 is that the king could actually take. Well, I guess that would be a fork. No, we'd lose our rook. I think the line would go. Yeah, it looks interesting for sure. So rook takes. We'll take a look at that. Rook takes g2, check. King takes g2, and knight takes f4, and then bishop takes f4. Yeah, I think that's the problem. The bishop would actually take back. That's the only stitch in that line. And if the e rook took d2, then if knight takes d2, rook takes c2, rook d8 check, and then knight to f8. I think that's an okay idea too. Let's see here. Let's take a gander at that. So you take there. We take here. He checks. We bring our knight down. Are we up a whole piece in that line? Yeah, we're up a whole entire piece in that line. Yeah, I think economy's proposal actually works in that line. Either way, even if you take here and then he takes there, you still pick up and you're up a whole piece. Yeah. Yeah, if you take here, you could actually take there. It doesn't matter, and then you come back and you drop your knight back, because you really can't block with the bishop because of takes there. I guess you could, but the bishop is more active of a piece. We like our bishop. And don't be fooled by this move. That would be a really bad error. He takes there and then you pick off a pawn. So just always be careful of those pins. Alright, good find there, guys. Excellent job. And we're going to look to see why rook to c1, what is the reason rook c1 is not. Okay, takes there. And if we play here, he plays there. We take, bishop takes, And then we have 8. Okay, so it's equal. It's a draw. It's a draw at that in this line. Because then he could play there, and we can undermine the structure. King moves over, and then we attack the bishop. And if he checks, we just move up. And we're still in a drawn position. If he takes, this actually helps us. Sorry, there's a bug. If we come up here, we could actually, I believe, retreat out that way. Yeah. And we have acquired a pawn. This bishop's under fire, and it's going to be a little hard, but we potentially could win. Yeah. So, great job, guys. We worked through it, and we're getting this. So this one I have to log off. Yeah, we're doing it, guys. Keep up the good work. We gotta calculate, make sure all the ideas work, and I'm gonna do my best to look at all your guys' ideas, and I'll try to call you guys out so that you guys know which moves I'm talking about from which from you guys. Because sometimes I get in the zone and I just put the moves in, and I forget to say who proposed what move. One sec, let me get a drink, and then I'll talk a little more. One sec. Yeah, sometimes my throat gets croaky when I talk a long time, so I have to I keep water by me. Oh boy, this should be interesting. We're doing really good here. So we checked with our our queen. Let's see here. We gotta be really careful here because there's a takes here. I'm liking queen to c1. Okay, queen c1, check. If queen, potentially though, there's queen e2. I don't think that works. So I don't think that move actually works there. I was trying to make this work here, and here, but he can actually just take, and when we take, the pawn takes back. So it only works if there wasn't a pawn here. That idea doesn't work. So queen h4 or h3. So let's take a look at that. So queen h3. Okay, looks strong. Okay, after the rook checks, we go f, and if he checks here, we flee up to g7. I still don't know if we have enough for excuse me, enough for mate though. Not sure. Because my teacher told me you need 3 pieces for mate. or you need a piece to be blocked. So, trying to see what could we do. Maybe let's see if we can't win material. We might be able to win some material. So Fox proposes rook to e1. So let's see here. Rook e1. Rook takes, check, king, d, okay, 8. Queen g3. Queen g. I'm trying to figure out where's queen g3. There's only queen g4. Oh, it must be queen g4 that you're talking about. Queen g4. Oh, F. Okay, gotcha. Okay, queen F3. Okay. Queen F3. Gotcha. Well, at that point, we would mate him with, we'd have queen here. King would come out. We would bring our rook back. And then he'd try to flee up here. I'm kind of liking that move, actually. No, I think that doesn't work. I think that doesn't work either because of queen to f3. And we'd have to trade off. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah, that's right. That does lose, because then you have the in-between move of check. Gotcha, yeah. Interesting for sure. That is a nice move. Because then the king would have to come up to g3. And then what you can play is rook to h3. So the move potentially would be rook h1. If queen f3, rook to h4, check, king g3, rook h3, and then king would have to take h3, and then queen would take f3 check. It'd be something like that. Yeah. So now we need to calculate, like what Foss says. If we play here, what's the consequences of checking on there? Now we have to see here. We can't run this way because the queen has check here, because the rook stop the queen from checking on this diagonal here when it was on G1. So now we have to calculate, we're going to have to, rather than run F8, so if we play a rook H1, rook takes B7 check, we'd have to flee this way. Check, then we come up, and then his rook's actually trapped. He might after here check, come there, or sorry, come here, check. When we come up, he might flee his rook over to G8 to protect. Oh, nice. We're thinking alike, Fox. Yeah. 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 Very, very interesting, to say the least. We can't, yeah, the rook, we'd actually end up in mate if we tried to flee to the G7 file. We'd actually end up getting mated. I think it's like mate and 5 if we did that. So the rook to H1 probably isn't gonna work out now. Went through that line. Oh, this here. Oops. Queen to Queen D E3. Queen E3. And we really don't have anything for compensation. I think he could seal up if we played at that point here. I think he can actually play F3 at that point. I think if okay, so Queen C1 check, yeah. No, if we go Queen C1 check, Queen E3, Queen D1, F2, and I think he's safe at that point. That is interesting for sure. The Queen to A1 after that line. Well, maybe he'll just move his king. No, he can't move the king. Hmm. Hmm. Queen C1 looks interesting. What do you guys think? Queen C1? Queen E, so Queen E5. Okay, Queen E5. Check. Oops, I have to do this here. King F3. Oops, I gotta do that. King F3. Not sure where to go with that after this. King E, I think Fox might have it with King to E3. No, well, yeah, yeah. That does. The king does get away. Rats. That was a bug, if you were wondering. It was buzzing me. Ah. Not sure. What do you guys want to try? Because I'm like, kind of stumped here. We have like this. These two ideas. I'm actually liking more Queen C1. What do you guys think? Queen C1? Let's see here. So you're saying here, King E3, and then Rook to C1, Rook C. What if he tries to flee, though? Well, I guess we could come back with check when the bishop... Okay, and then we... Oh, that is true. So Railbird says Queen C1, bishop there, Queen to D. Whoops. Here, here, there. So E. There. It's actually E5. E5. Rook D1. Actually, we can't go to Rook D1. The Queen's on D1. So probably Rook E1 is what you're talking about. The Queen has to go to... Actually, the Queen has to... Sorry, wrong. Queen from here has to vacate. You're right. And... Huh. Yeah. Okay, so let's retry that here. Here. There. Rook E1. Okay, so Queen takes. King F8. Rook check. Then King G. King. Oops. King goes here. Yeah, let's try Queen C1. That sounds the most. I think Queen C1. We'll give that a go. Oh. Okay, so we're good in that line if he takes. So if we go here, so it's a draw in that line. Let's check Let's check king d7. So he grabs, he'll grab the pawn. Okay, so he'll be up. Oh, what was the first move? The first move was rook to e1. That's okay. Hey, you know what? That one was a tough one. We learned a whole bunch. That was the only line that worked. And if he, let's see, if he plays here, what? Okay, so we can actually check when the king moves, which is forced. We can come here. If he takes, we come. Let's say we come there. Okay, and we win a piece there. Okay, so I gotcha. So do you guys have any other lines you want to look at before I log off? Not a problem. Hey, you know what? We're learning. You guys have any other moves to look at that you're thinking? Oh yeah, we gotta check rook to h, and then here, let's take a look. Oh. Well, if you guys want to look at the puzzle, I'll give you guys the number. I think that's right. That's the number. Well, okay, if everybody's good then, alright. Well, guys, you know what? We did good. We got a whole bunch of green. Don't worry about that red, because you know what? We learned from it. It's not a loss. It's a victory, because we learned from it. It only counts when it's over the board. Remember that. This is the battleground, training ground. When you're in the gladiatorial arena, which is at the board, that's a whole difference when it's for rating points and a 1 and an 0. So just keep that in mind, or a half point. So just keep that in mind when you're studying. Okay, so don't get down, don't get upset. Keep moving forward. We're knowing what we need to do, and we're applying it. We're willing, and we're doing. So you know what? That's what we have to do. We have to be like that one gentleman or person who came in, hung up their hat and their coat, rolled up their sleeve, and did the thing that everybody thought that they couldn't do. That person did it. So you know what? That's us. We're going to do what most people think that we can't do. We're going to succeed. So we got to keep pushing forward. I believe in you guys. Okay? So remember that. We're like coal. We're like coal. Coal eventually under pressure turns into a diamond. So remember that. Under great strife comes great success. Sometimes it's the road less traveled by that makes all the difference, guys. So keep that in mind. I'll check to see if anybody wrote anything, so that if you got any to respond. No. Okay, good. So remember, just keep moving forward. Hannibal Smith. I'll end with a couple more things. Hannibal Smith said, keep moving. You know what? Only a plan's good only if you have your opponent do what you want them to do, and that's a plan. And remember, as always, we have to keep moving forward, and don't only look back to learn. Don't dwell there. And I'll leave you with this thought. As Wesley So says, through the Lord Jesus, and as I say, God bless. And I'll see you next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, and evening, guys. Thank you all for logging on. And you know what? We're going to do some more studies tomorrow, some more puzzles, and some games. So we got to just keep pushing forward. Keep up the good work, guys. And we will make it over 2,600. So don't worry about it. Be blessed, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.